Hi, I'm Lord Mouse. You may remember me from such unpopular mods like Fancy Fluid Storage and, well, probably no other mods because that was the only other bigger mod I did. Anyway, welcome to a maybe not so short mod showcase of Wireless Utilities, a mod I've been working on with Standex since late 2018. And without further ado, let's just get right into the mod and show you what you can do with it. First off, you see a bunch of blocks here. The first ones we're interested in are these ones. The ones here. Those are the core of this entire mod. Chargers. More specifically, directional chargers. And we'll get to the difference between directional and what else there is in a bit. And before we do anything else, you see they're like just there. They're not doing anything. They're like sitting there without having anything to do, obviously. But before we do anything else, let's show you the recipes for this. So you might be familiar with these items already. Like pistons are used in a bunch of modded recipes as well. Iron, obviously. And there's two items that you've probably never seen before unless you've played with the mod already. One of them is the machine panel added by our mod, which is iron ingots around an ender coil. And the ender coil is made with 4 string, 4 copper ingots, and an ender pearl, or a stabilized ender pearl, which, as it says, flies accurately and consistently when shot from a dispenser. So the thing with the copper ingots in here is if you don't have a mod that adds copper ingots, these will be iron ingots. So it will be 4 iron ingots, 4 string, and an ender pearl. Just a thing on the side. As for the pearls, well, you need to craft them from fluxed pearls, which I can just grab from here, from item frame. So you hold shift over the items, you can actually see some details on like information. So the fluxed pearl, super easy, it's just an ender pearl with 2 redstone. But you notice in the recipe it requires a charged pearl. How do you get a charged pearl? Simple, I accidentally pressed the wrong one. You charge a pearl, you charge a fluxed pearl, that's how you get a charged pearl. It's easy, just do it. Energetic infuser, whatever other mods you have that can charge items. Well, probably just the energetic infuser right now. Anyway, or if you don't have it, you basically just toggle downfall, if I could spell that, and you throw it up. And you get a nice achievement. You also get an achievement if you like make one. And that gets you a charged pearl, and this is what you will need for like pretty much every item or machine in this mod. In this mod. So basically like that to get charged pearls. Another cool thing about flux pearls is they emit a redstone signal. So if you grab a redstone lamp, make a quick array of these. That doesn't work. As you can see, and power these redstone lamps. You can also power redstone that is on the floor. You just grab it like this. You can see that it powers it if I could hit. This is done by quickly putting a fake air block on that position to handle the redstone signal, as there's no good way of doing it without like messing with other classes. Anyway, back to the chargers. Chargers are, as you can see, there's a few different ones, and they look similar but also different from the top. And if you check Wyla in the top, you see this is tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, 4, 5, and the creative one. So, as you might have noticed, they are tiered. Similarly to how other machines in other mods are tiered. And basically how you craft these, that you just take the previous tier, craft it like this. All the recipes are in JEI, by the way, obviously, so I would highly recommend using JEI if you aren't, which is in every big mod pack nowadays anyway. And you can just check the recipes for these. They use more pearls, they use higher tier items. Obviously, you can't craft the creative one. Who would have guessed? And the only other way to upgrade them is by either like crafting them with an upgrade kit, which is similar to this but requires a machine panel instead. So if you actually have upgrade kits in here, or conversion kits. So the thing about upgrade kits is, let me quickly grab upgrade kit tier 2 and tier 3, throw this one away and grab this one. So let's say you want to upgrade this to tier 3. Right click this, you open the UI, or the GUI rather, and it doesn't do anything. You first need to upgrade it to tier 2, which it tells you in chat, and then you can actually get it to tier 3. The only other way to do this is by grabbing a conversion kit, for example tier 4, which will immediately convert it. So the conversion kits are basically crafted with a tier 3. I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be other recipes to handle conversion kits where you could craft them together. I don't quite think we added them. I think we should, where you can craft a tier 3. Wait, did we? No, never mind. Forget what I was saying, because that we're not how... That would be a waste of charged pearls, right? That's why we didn't add that. My bad. Forget what I was saying. Natural mod shows cases are the best. What else do I have about that? Right. So, the other thing is that these blocks, or rather this mod in general, has really good craft trigger support. You basically remove all the tiers and be like, hey, I don't want 5 different tiers and a creative one. I only want 3 different tiers and a creative one, because you can't turn off the creative one, obviously. So, with craft tweaker, you could then just say, you can make a script to say, hey, remove all of these, or clear the list, and then add all of them in again. So, like, manually, only tier 3. Or up to tier 3. And I'm pretty sure at this point you're quite excited to see, like, why this mod exists. Why we made this. And more specifically, you probably want to see the chargers in action. But before we do that, I first got to talk about augments, and you're probably familiar with the term augment already, as other mods also use that, most importantly thermal expansion. And you saw a quick glimpse at the GUI already, which is using the same GUI system that thermal expansion uses, so you will be familiar with that. We'll go in detail on that as well. So, first off, augments. I have a few in here, which is basically a range augment, a inventory augment, and a capacity augment. We'll also grab this one and a creative energy source real quick. So let's see, trash can energy. No, we don't need that. We can just do this. So basically, you have different tiers on the augments as well. If we just search up augment, you see, well, first off the actual additions augments, Botania, thermal expansion, and then down here are the wireless utility augments. You have an augment base, which is how you craft all of these, requiring the previous tier again. Similar recipes, as you might notice, to how the actual machines also are crafted. And there's range augments, also an interdimensional range augment. There's an inventory augment, there are target slot augments, there are capacity augments, transfer augments, a world augment, an invert augment, and a crop augment. But let's just show you a few of them, and maybe you can get a gist about the other ones, or maybe you'll just download the mod later on and try for yourself. So let's first show you a basic charger and its GUI. So what you'll notice is we have 6 different tabs in here. First one is the work tab, which shows you the current rate of its work, maximum rate, and its active targets, which is being updated as it works, obviously. The configuration, you can change how much maximum power is being handled, or like being output into the entirety of the blocks it can find. More on that in a second. And information just shows you a bit of information again. Over here we have augmentation. As you can see, there's 1 slot in here. If I don't even need to grab this. If I check this one, there's 2, 3, 4, 6, and the creative one has 9. This is also adjustable through craft tweaker. So this is where you actually put the augments that we have over here. Redstone control, you can have it work like thermal expansion machines. Either ignore the redstone control, work whenever it can, low or high. And then down here we have the round robin. Yes, our small bouncy robin when you hover over him. You can change how much energy is going into each block. So for example, you could limit this to, let's say 50 per block, per tick. I could save this, which in turn is only gonna put 50 in. But for now, we're just gonna leave this as at its max. So maximum, as it says there. And then you have 2 more over here. You have round robin, which is enabled by default, and nearest first, furthest first, and random. These are the modes for this. And this is another interesting button, the show working area, which has a very nice render in front of it. This shows you where it's actually doing the charging. You can toggle this. This is client side, so if you enable this on the server, other people would need to enable this as well. You can also scroll to change the color, as you can see. But let's actually give this thing some power. How about that? It can store 100,000 RF by default. It's already full. Who would have guessed? So let's first show the capacity augment. Wow, that suddenly allows you to store 3.2 million RF. Granted, the tier 5 one is a bit heavy on the crafting side. But you can store a bit more power in that now. You could also get a range augment. If we put the range augment in, you'll see it drops down to 100,000 again, but you have more buttons available. You also have an offset that you can do. Let's turn this around for a second so we can actually have a bit more space to work with. So once again, we'll enable the working area. We have the range augment in. We'll change the height. Only shows 2 because there's one below that it's working with. But we won't put machines in the floor, will we? So how about we change this to be 1 up on the offset? And maybe we want to actually have this extend. Or maybe we want to have an entire room. And this is where the fun begins. We can technically grab machines as well. So let's first grab a furnace from thermal expansion. Put that here. As you can see, nothing's happening. Well, this machine doesn't have any power, right? So let's hide the working area. We know where it's working, right? Over here. Let's give this some power. Oh, this is filling up. How interesting. So this is wirelessly charging. Oh, and I broke it. This is wirelessly charging the furnace that we have set up over here. I broke it so it doesn't do anything anymore. But basically, you don't need a wire to charge this anymore. And this can lead to some pretty cool contraptions, also allowing you to have more spots on the machine to work with. So how about we actually show this in a better example? And I've already got a question in chat as I have recorded this on Twitch. Do you have the jar already available? Yes, this is actually already downloadable on CurseForge, and I will link this in chat right now. That's been released since November 1st, so there's that. Also, yes, I can see chat. It's just that I'm not really reacting to people saying hi, but I just want to focus on either the questions or my bullet points that I have over here. So let's get all these items away. Got that broken. That looked like a spider over there. Whatever. So let's show you this stuff in action. So your typical room might look something like this, right? You have a bunch of wiring, either maybe energy conduits, maybe you have flux ducts, and then you need to do the wiring. I've put glass over here so we can see. From an energy cell, also these ones aren't connected, but where's the stuff? Right here. If we grab the other wrench, just for convenience sake, I've changed every single one of these stone bricks to a conduit facade so you can more easily see this. And there's actually wiring going down here to these as well. This is the closest you can get to having it look nice. But even then, you're taking up space on the blocks or on the machines that you could otherwise use for, like, for example, item piping or something else. Maybe you just want to put like lamps in between or something like that, right? So how about we grab that creative energy source again? Actually give this power. So this has power now. These machines are actually working now. Well, they're not working, but they're being filled up. Same for these, right? So this is how the typical setup works or looks like up until this mod came about. As you can see, there's a bit of wiring here that I've prepared, which isn't even necessary now that we have an offset, because I've prepared this room when we didn't have an offset ready. So how about we actually get rid of this and instead stuff again. We'll put the energy cell in the floor. We don't even need the energy cell on the floor, really. We can just grab a creative energy source. Let's say you have your directional charger over here in the corner, right? Which now has energy. And by default, we remember we have the working area like this, right? Put this to high for a second. Let's put a range augment in first. So once again, just normal. We want to change the height to actually be able to reach the top here. So we'll change that to 5, which is extending 5 blocks to the top. Grab the width. We'll make 5. 7. Is this 7? Yeah, this is 7. We'll offset that one already. And -1, -2, -3. We have this entire part here. Then also change the length. 7. We will also need to offset to +3. All of a sudden, we have this entire room filled in this nice working area. As you can see, all these machines are still like no power so far because we disabled that. Let's turn this on. As we can see, we have a current rate of 880 RF per ticks with 8 out of 10 targets. Why are these not charging? Oh, because you don't have capacitors. Well, that's just an issue on my side. Let's put capacitors in there, and all of a sudden they charge. How interesting. No, it's just trying to hype this up. So now 2 of the 10 are charging. The other one's already charged. As you can see, there's nothing going on with wiring over here. These are charged wirelessly, allowing you more space in between for item conduits or maybe transfer pipes or something similar. All of this is powered in the corner here by this directional charger. You could put it in the center as well. That's what I initially planned this for. But you could just have it over here in the corner where nobody will see it. You can obstruct it so nobody will see it at all. What's the max RF per tick these can transfer? So this one right now can transfer a maximum rate of 1 million per target, if the target allows it. We can also put a transfer augment in, tier 5, which allows you to transfer it at 32 million RF per tick. How interesting! No, but this is basically a 32 times fold over its base. This is 16 times fold, so you can put these in any machines. By default, these tiered augments are not restricted to their actually tiered counterparts, and they also don't require a previous tier to be available. It's a config option, so I could literally be like, okay, let's grab this range augment. I can actually go into the config for this. Augments require previous tier. If you hover over it, it says you, when enabled, installing an augment into a machine requires that the machine also has the previous tier augments. If we turn that to true, which doesn't work because I'm on a server, you wouldn't be able to put a tier 3 range augment in, for example, if you don't have a tier 2 in, and if you can't put the tier 2 in if you don't have a tier 1 in. So just something to keep in mind. But we're human beings. We know people don't want to have that by default because it's a bit annoying. It also takes up way more augment slots. But for a more hardcore experience, or like a more expert-based pack, so to say, the option is there. People can, or pack devs can definitely enable that. Server owners can enable it like that. You can also turn off pretty much everything this is offering. Chargers, cost per block, right? This is a power like that goes up linearly with distance per tick. By default, this is 0, so we don't have any extra power drain for charging. The maximum or cost for this, for these cost per blocks, or cost per block squared, is over here. Same for the interdimensional cost. So interdimensional cost is a set value. We'll get to that actually now, because if we're done with this part now. So I told you, I only showed you the directional chargers now, but there's also positional ones, and the GUI for those is a bit different. See a total of 9 slots here in the creative one. And once again, 9 augment slots. And you also see a range. Well, we already had the range augment, right? But put this in, once again, it's extending. If you hold control, you can see in which machines you can put this into. And as you can see, only tier 3 works in the directional machines. Tier 4 only works in the positional ones. It also shows you the positional range. So interdimensional, if you put that one in, has a nice rendering on the range. But I've prepared another portal over here, so let's actually see how well this works. Did I have... No, I didn't have an energy cell ready. So energy cell, I'll grab that one again. And the way this basically works is we have so-called positional cards, and I'll grab one of these and then use. You put them in here, sneak using on a block to store its position inside. So how about we do that, and we grab... Yeah, going over to the nether real quick. Also loading. So we're over here in the nether. Don't remember. Yeah, I only have some of this on. Okay, let's say we have a energy cell over here, right? Do I have this? I have this chunk loaded, right? So you see 0 out of 2 million. Let's say shift right click. You see the rendering if you hold these. So this is the side that we shift right click. So this is the one where it's going to be putting the power into. You do it on the top. Like this. If we have this set to not accept from the top, it won't work. We need to have this on blue to accept power. Now we have a positional card that has side up, dimension -1, the nether, and its coordinates. So how about we go on over to the overworld again. Hopefully I'm getting out on the right nether portal. I can't remember actually doing another one. So where am I? Right. Now we have a creative one, infinite RF, also max long, because... Well, like we have support for that, so why not? So if I put this in now, actually let me change this to maybe 50 RF per tick. I put this in. Active target 0 out of 1. It's not loaded. Could be 0 out of 1. Positional cards. It can't be removed because it's... Let's see. Something's fishy right now. Do I have interdimensional stuff disabled? I shouldn't. Cool! Good showcase. This should actually handle the charging of that. Oh, now it's working. Why was it not? Okay, I definitely need to look into that again. Why it's not working at 50 RF per tick. Or I'm not. Because I'm an idiot. Right. See, even I get confused with our own mod. So... the reason why it's not working at 1000 RF per tick, and I think we should address this a bit more. This even confused me right now. The Stanek is around, maybe he can listen real quick. Basically what I told you about the range augment, and we actually talked about the config. It's using 1000 RF per tick, right? Or 1000 RF if it's interdimensional. So the reason why this isn't working at anything 1000 or below is because of this drain. So if I increase this by 1, see that the rate is actually higher. I didn't increase this by 1, I increased it by 5. 1001 RF per tick, because 1000 is going to be used by this block, and the other 1 RF are actually being transferred over to this dimension now. So, as you can see, it's already filled up, and it's still filling up, slowly but surely. So it is working. I was just very confused for a moment, because the indication was a bit... And the other thing, obviously, you can do instead of the range augment, the interdimensional range augment at least, is you could grab a tier 5 range augment. Instead, set this to maybe 851. Let's say we have an energy cell somewhere over here. Charging its front, 851, going in. We'll get that one covered. I did talk quickly, or like shortly, about the inventory augment, which I don't have right now, but we can use this with this positional charger. Why not? Once again, I have the positional card here. Let's actually put this on this block, and the inventory augment is gonna be quite interesting. So you have the inventory augment over here. I'll put that in. And we also, because I forgot to talk about this, target slot augment, which allows you to have more slots available. So now if all these slots available, you can't remove it if there is something in that slot. So just something to keep in mind. Anyway, we've got 9 slots total now. The target slot augment is unlocking slots. First is unlocking top row, second row, third row. That's how the slot augment works. But inventory augment. Let's just say the inventory augment is the one thing that got us started on the mod at all, because when we played Stoneblock, we didn't want to have such a long grind. So what we did was we enabled the acceleration ones from not enough ones to be usable in mechanical users or in machines in general, and they were draining quite quickly. If you accelerate a mechanical user with another mechanical user and accelerate that mechanical user with another mechanical user, you have a hard time or difficult time charging them. And let's just say we have an energy cell with 0 out of 2 million RF, and you can pretty much assume what's already gonna happen if I put this in. It's charging at 851 RF per tick. So basically what we could do is we could actually reproduce this and grab a mechanical user instead of this one, this spot, and put the acceleration ones in. I could spell acceleration one, that would be very helpful. Let's grab 9 of these, put them all in. As you can see, they're charging. We can also increase this to be max, and all of a sudden they're charged because we just push out as much as we can into this. We grab another one, this should be charged in just a split second, 1 tick. So inventory charging, it's interesting. Definitely something you should look out for. And with that, I think that concludes the chargers. So how about we actually go on over to the next part we have over here, the condensers. And you can already see there's water here, which is going to be how we will be crafting quenched pearls. What you do is you grab charged pearls, throw them in water, and they will eat the water source block, and you get a quenched pearl. If you right click it, you can also see that you could use it in a fluid transposer, for example, or an item condensing with, once again, an inventory augment. 1 bucket of water. So condensers work like chargers, except that instead of power, they do fluids. And fluids is something that some people are also using conduits for, or fluid ducts, or fluid transfer pipes. But why? Why would you do that? Why would you use that if you have a block that can do that wirelessly, opening up even more space on machines? And from here on out, we have a creative one. I'm just going to show the creative ones over here, and then the huts, I'm actually going to show the tier 5 ones. So once again, infinite RF. You can change how much millibuckets per tick it's actually doing per, well, millibuckets per target per tick. And once again, augments over here. So the interesting thing about the directional condenser, or the condenser in creative mode, is that you can just grab a bucket, which I should have over here. Right, I've prepared a bunch of items. Once again, augments. World augment! Right, we have a world augment over here, which is very interesting. We'll get to that in a second. Actually grab some of these. Crescent hammer. Do I need a crescent hammer? I don't need a crescent hammer. Yeah, this is prepared in a way where I didn't have everything available in the beginning. So we have all of these, and we grab a directional condenser. So the directional condenser, once again, by default, have a working area. We put a tank over here. Do that real quick. I tell it to have lava. If you take a bucket, hover over the fluid lock, it's giving it that, and all of a sudden this is filled. That was a bit fast, so how about we turn that up by like 10 instead? So you can actually see that there's something happening. We stand a bit closer, you can see this is slowly filling up per tick. Can have this with pretty much every one of these. So this is how the condenser works, and the condenser I'm gonna show something else with. Do I have it in here? No, but we'll get to that in a second. So let's say we have a tier 5 condenser. Right? We'll grab a tier 5 condenser. We'll put it over here so both work on the same tank. Maybe, how much can the portable tank store again? How about we do it in the portable tank? So, instead of doing this, how about we increase this so it can fill up a bit quicker? This one needs power. Can quickly grab a charger from this, so this one has power. And instead of filling it, why not go with an invert augment? And this one, once again, put that down, 1000. You put it in here, and all of a sudden, you see this is filling up because it's draining from this portable tank over here, draining it into itself, and you can later on use. You could literally just use like conduits at this point to get the fluid out of this, or you could not. This is up to you. We were thinking about automatic outputting this to specific blocks next to the machine, but so far we didn't really want to look into that. Maybe if there's enough demand, and if there's enough demand, we could probably consider this. But this is basically how the invert augment works. So the same works with positional cards. I've prepared a world augment here, which is gonna be a bit interesting. Like that. Let's say we put this in the ground over here. And I'll dig out, say, a 5x5. That's a 5x5. Okay, 5x5. Tell it to have a range augment. Highest one real quick. There you go. So we have a range augment that's in this entire area. And now we put a world augment in. The world augment allows certain machines to modify the world directly, such as by placing a fluid. So far, only the condenser is actually working with this. But there are... We had a working version for the next block that I'll be looking into, but it wasn't like really what we hoped for it. So, put this in. All of a sudden, filling this entire thing with lava. And if you don't want that anymore, we can grab a directional charger tier 5. Put that over there. Give this power again, because we need power. Hello. Yeah. Range augment as well. We tell it to invert. Should work. Isn't it working? What's the invert augment? Oh yeah, world augment. So many augments, so little time. I have this on high, thank you. World augment. And it's drained. And it's in here. 25,000. So that's 25 lava blocks. So this is the condenser. And I've also prepared a very good use case over here. So let's say, once again, you have your piping from a magma crucible that's handling redstone. You have an aqueous accumulator, which is currently turned off. And you have one for glowstone, which has some stuff inside, but I don't care right now. Over here, I've prepared resonant flux ducts, the fluid duct, flux duct, prepared cobblestone, and I've prepared item ducts, which is basically gonna handle this stuff. So let's say we will... No, I didn't want that. But this, grab a creative directional charger, we grab a range augment again, and we just plonk this down over here, because we don't need to have the center. We can have this like anywhere in this entire room. So once again, turn this to 7, offset this. You notice this machine over here is already working. How interesting. Over here, 5. All of a sudden, all of these machines are working. This one isn't because I had that off. Let's turn off the working area again. Inputting? Not. Oh yeah, I didn't have this set to allow fluid from the bottom. Anyway, ignore that. These machines are suddenly working as well, right? So, redstone in here, redstone coming in from here, water from here to handle. Working slowly. Wait, did I not upgrade these? Ah, interesting. which is handling moss stone, resonant flux. You know this if you played with other mods. And at this point, I assume people that are watching this mod showcase have actually played with mod packs that have these blocks. Anyway, this is your traditional way of doing this. Piping. We don't like piping. Piping is bad. This mod does not like piping. Okay. But instead of working with this, how about we prepare a directional charger again with a range augment. I think I only need it in here. And you see, these machines are working already. So that's a good starting point, I guess. This one isn't. This one is now. So, are you? Yeah, you are. So let's assume you want to get this over without piping. How would you do that? Let's just say we have a condenser over here. Needs its stuff filled in from the right side. Turn this one further down so we can actually have a better way of showing this. So have this on underneath so it can fill up. Now all of a sudden you see destabilized redstone. Need more positional cards, I just noticed. So how about we get the destabilized redstone, which is currently in here, over to this one? Well, that's easy. How about we just check the front, put this in here, but that doesn't work because on the front it doesn't allow input, right? This is what I was talking about already, where you need to actually have the side allow it, so grab it from the right side. Also doesn't work. Set this to input, and all of a sudden we have destabilized redstone over here, which is coming from over here. You can also see an animation whenever it pushes more destabilized redstone over into this fluid transposer. We can do the same for this one, which I've set to already output to the front there. We've got water in here. Need another one of these. Input from the right. Already prepared this to input from the right. This one. Then we can put this in here. This one has a... Okay, this is the interesting part. So you see the render on this. And this is also working, obviously. This renders blue because it has water inside. This one doesn't render anything, even though destabilized redstone, you would assume it would be red. The problem here lies on thermal expansion side for not supporting a method that is added by the fluid stuff within the code. We've talked with King Lemming, and he's definitely gonna implement it for... I'm not sure if he's actually implementing it in an update of thermal expansion, or if he maybe already did, I don't know. But he's definitely gonna be implementing it on the 1.13 version of thermal expansion, so then this will also render properly. Because we quickly get out of here. I mean, do I really need to show this? Yeah. For completionist's sake, how about we show this one as well? Range augment, not needed. Positional card, last one we need. So put that in here. Get our glowstone over, and boom, glowstone. This is all working now. Yada yada, you saw this. So one quick thing that I can just grab this one. I've had buckets over here that don't have it in here anymore. Was it Tinker? So let's say we want molten obsidian, we maybe want molten cobalt, we want molten manulan. So we have 3 of these. This one's rendering properly, this one is, and this one isn't. They're also rendering properly if I grab a fluid trash can with positional cards. That's not a positional card. So also with positional cards, shift right click in the air and you can just reset them. So let's put these in. You can see they're rendering way brighter then, because they're working. Also a nice little animation. Anyway, that's how they should render. And Tinker's Construct implements this pretty well. So Tinker's Construct works with this. But sadly thermal expansion doesn't. But it's planned. And I think with that we're pretty much done covering the condensers. So once again we have creative condenser, creative directional condenser, creative positional condenser. They have tiers as well. Both are available in, as I said, directional variant and positional variant. But Why stop at charging blocks and filling them up with fluids when you could not, and instead go one step further and do desublimators, which are the same, but items? How about we also do items? Well, there might be also, like, at this point you're probably thinking, well, I don't need any wiring at all anymore. And you'd be correct, mostly, probably. Like, off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything that we're really missing. Oh, redstone. Redstone is the one thing that is annoying to do wirelessly, because you need to hack into other classes, and it's... Anyway, this one requires a scorched pearl, and I've prepared lava. As you could imagine, throw it in lava, and it's burning. So hot right now. You get a scorched pearl. Same recipes for these. Well, this one doesn't have a recipe. So, positional, directional, desublimators. Also stabilized ones, which fly accurately. And that's pretty much it towards the desublimators. I haven't prepared a crate with like items for this one. But yeah, why did you stop? What happened? How would we change this to this? No, doesn't work. Okay, I guess we need to go over here. Reload this. The queue is empty. Interesting. Well, towards the streaming side of things. Anyway, desublimators, right, items. Let's get into the next hut. I've prepared a quick refined storage system, and people will hate me because refined storage systems are bad and I should use applied energistics, but whatever. Anyways, so what do we have here? We have a redstone furnace array, we have pulverizers, and we have ores. Bunch of them in creative caches. And we also have a creative storage disk because, well, it's the easiest way. Exporter set to have all of the dusts that we get from the pulverizers, which have the ores. So how about we connect this up? That's the wrong block to connect up to. And you guys are working. You're at least putting like stuff in. So how about we grab a charger again, and we'll charge all of these machines that we have over here. I also need more of these. Put that in. Change this, and I need to move this one over there. Offset. Right. So, all of a sudden there's sounds coming from over here. Why are you not working? Oh, now you are. You're pretty quick. All of you are quick. So, we don't have this part set up. But as you can see, all of a sudden we're getting items over here, and it's prioritizing silver for whatever reason. Oh, now it's grabbing lead. Isn't randomizing anything really? It's just silver, really? Just silver? No. Anyway, we got silver at least. So silver being pulverized, being put temporarily into this to not have an overflow later on, and this is gonna take care of doing this for us. But it's like, why would you want to have all of these like exporters? That's just taking up space. Importers, exporters. This is taking up space, right? So how about instead we go with desublimators? Yay! Everyone's favorite. We just have one exporter. We have way less wiring, as you notice. Also, like we have a bit of wiring to connect this upper part. And once again, creative, we have kind of stuff set up here. This desublimator, as you can see, range and capacity. Capacity is to have more slots in here, and the buffer. You can also see that we can lock the slots. And unlock them. If I were to put cable over here, it's also remembering what it has in here. Then I could only put ores in the other ones, and this would only allow for cables. So over here also we can tell it how many items per target max. And we also see the work tab. So it can only do 64 items per tick maximum. And also energy usage over here. And how about we just get this fired up? So we have set these both have a working area of 5. We have this one set to have a working area of 5. We have this one set to have a working area of 5. But why do I have one on the left side and one on the right side? You might wonder. Well, maybe it's because I have one on the input and one on the output. This is where stuff gets interesting. I've already shown you the invert augment. So let's quickly get this set up again with one vertical, right one, yeah. Okay. So these machines will now get filled. This will get filled. Obviously, these are faster because they allow for more energy to pass through. So over here we have the pulverized iron, or pulverized stuff. Over here we have an importer. The opposite, obviously. Down here we have exporters. Also opened this so you can like better see where all the wiring is. Down here we have an importer. And these actually have the invert augment, which means, well, how about we just connect this for ourselves? Oh, tin. Oh, where did the tin go? Oh, maybe in here. All of a sudden, we have stuff in here. Also, this doesn't have any like stack upgrades, so we should put some stack upgrades in there. Maybe not like this. Speed upgrades. This can work a bit faster. So the buffer has cleared now. We don't really... Oh, we do. So let's put 3 speed upgrades in here maybe. Fill the buffer quicker. Also the same up here. Speed upgrades. Stack upgrade. Here. Speed upgrades. Stack upgrade. All of a sudden. Requires way less wiring. And just overall looks better. I mean, there's still some wiring. But hey, like, this is the closest you can get to making it look nice. Right? There are some limits that you just can't overcome. Or are there? How about we get over to the next blocks now that we covered the basics? How about we get into the add-on stuff? As you can see over here, directional RS network. RS is short for refined storage. I just showed you some refined storage stuff. How about we get more in detail into this? Because why stop at power, fluids, and items when you could not? So this part that they have a GUI, they don't really have much in them because, well, yeah, the positional one has, but that's because it's positional, obviously. And over here, I've prepared also some items. For example, creative wireless grid. Also have a normal wireless transmitter and all of a sudden, a infinite wireless transmitter. You might remember this from the refined storage add-ons mod that got removed from the mod because Raoul was like not really happy with it being in, and he removed it and people were very annoyed. So I actually thought, this is actually a good wireless utility as well. So I hit him up and asked him if he'd be fine with us adding this into wireless utilities, and he said, sure, go for it. So infinite wireless transmitter, it's in wireless utilities. If you want it, if that's the only reason you want this mod for, and I don't blame you, it's totally fine, but it shouldn't be the only reason. It should not. Anyway, let's quickly grab some refined storage creative controller. We can just plonk down here to have it connected. Positional RS network isn't connected to anything. The wireless transmitter, we have a creative wireless grid, doesn't have any items in right now. Let's quickly change that. Let's put a disk drive in here. Let's put a 60 storage disk in. Let's put, oh, that's the wrong one. Put 2 items in. So see everything. How about we go all the way over here where the range should not be a thing anymore. I can still access everything. So infinite wireless transmitter. Whee! That's, yeah, that's what we got in here. But recipe wise, as I said, just like creative one, obviously you can't craft. RS network, once again, very similar. Instead of the fluxed or charged pearls, we have advanced processors in this because, well, why would we have flux pearls if this is pretty much like this is about. Anyway, I've shown you the basics. This is a normal, well, quite normal setup for this. You have 10 24K storage disks. You have fluid storage disks in here, a few disk drives, a few crafters maybe, all connected up to a creative controller right now. The fluid grid, there's nothing in there right now, obviously, but I could just throw a bunch of items in. They're in. Throw fluid in. Let's grab a lava bucket. Lava in. So, yeah, that's basically that part. But there's still wiring. Like, why? We don't like wiring in this mod. This is a wiring-free mod. That's the focus. So instead, we'll just grab a directional redstone RS network, which is getting its power from the system. So as you can see, 0 right now because it isn't using any. And show the working area again. So this, and I need to offset this by -1. Oh wait, that wasn't the one. This was the one. And this way actually. Okay, was correct. Oh wait, that wasn't the one, right? One day. Okay. So we got this hooked up, and all of a sudden, there's blocks in here. And the directional one also has FE usage, or power usage rather, because this is taking up the power that the machines, or like the blocks themselves would need. But as you can see, there's like no wiring down there. It's like, this is the magic that we have with wireless utilities. Once again, I can put items in here, and if I can find the disk that they're on, then they should be on there. There you go. There they were. 2 items. I can grab them out of here again. Put them in. And if I turn this off, for example, all of these will go off too. Turn it on. It will go online again. So that's another thing that was experimented with and we successfully implemented. So there you go, wireless redstone, this refined storage network. RS is also short for redstone. Anyway, that's refined storage. How about we do the same for applied energistics? Well, I won't really show you this with the block. How about we just get right into the HUD? It's just literally the same. You can see there's channel usage. There's like 2 channels here, 6 channels here. Creative energy cell. Couple gen that is. Was it filling inside, or did I have this disabled right now? Alright, I didn't have to plug it in. Right. So, couple gen, which should be... I said it should be filling the terminal. It is not filling the terminal. Why do you have a fluid export bus on there? What was I thinking when I made that? Import bus. ME import bus. Okay. This might be a better way to do this. Aha! Cobblestone! Anyway. All of a sudden we have this. Do I have the wrong one on there as well? Ah, gee. Okay. So, you still need 1 wire, obviously, so this is connected. But, once again, you have wiring here. You could do without wiring. So how about we do it without wiring? Put this one over here again. Throw range augment in. -1, and you can see it's working all of a sudden. And terminal isn't working. Right, there was something with the terminal that wasn't working. Device missing channel. Aha, device missing channel. Right, so these are connected. The problem with this now is that due to it coming from one side, this thing is only able to do 8 channels. I don't know why it's using up. Yeah, it's using up 1 more channel because the machine itself needs a channel. So we have 6 over here, 7, and 8. And then we don't have any channels left. The only solution to this is to grab an augment, change the length, change the width, be like this, turn it up by 1, should be fine. Offset it, not vertically, offset it over here. So that this is taking care of this. We have an online device, online device, online device. Turn this off. In another one over here, the range augment. this. Also set to 3 on that. Right, already working. What wasn't working just now? Did I change it too quickly? Oh wait, it's length, width, height. That now. Oh, it's because that one is one closer. Right? Oh, yeah, there you go. That's working. That was the one that I wanted. Offset this vertically. There you go. That's now taking care of these. And then we have, I think, 6 channels over here that are being taken care of. 3 over here. We'd still have 5 left here, and we'd still have 2 left here. It is complex, but we could also do with positional ones. So if instead we would be going with positional part, positional AE network, this, and tell it grab one position on this side, and it will also take care of that. So you basically, you can have one of them, but the main, because they're connected with one another. But if you would have separate ME drives that are like separated, so if I would have this one over here, this one over there, blah blah, then I could have separate positional cards and they would only take up 1 channel each. But this is already taking up 6 channels, 7. And right, so 4 over here, sorry for that. 4 over here because 1 is taken up by the positional one. That's that part. So we pretty much covered the blocks that we have in wireless utilities. Except maybe one more, which is an angled slime block, which has stopped working. Have you stopped working? So sad. Please work. Okay. As you can see, there's pearls that are flying around. Why do we have a charged pro? Oh! Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. I know the issue. I turned on the rain before and all of a sudden the pearls like stopped because, well, yeah, they got hit by lightning. Duh. But these will just run endlessly in this contraption that we built. Quite fun to look at. So angled slime, they work for items, so I could just do one like this. I can throw button on here, buttons bouncing off. They work for entities as well. So where to bounce off like this. You can change it by right clicking it. You can change its top rotation like this, side rotation like this. You can place it on a wall, do the same here. And you can build fancy contraptions like this. That's pretty much everything that is being covered by this. So augments we had the conversion and upgrade kits, we had small items, we have work glasses, which is another small thing that is actually added. The work glasses are basically just telling you the positional cards through walls. So see working areas of machines. So if I were to grab a directional let's grab a positional charger. Grab a positional card in this, and instead of doing this, how about we dig a bit deeper, grab, I mean, I don't really need anything. Do this, and we build through. You can see I can see this block through that. I remove these, I will not see these. Let's see the rendering. I can also put it in here, and then I won't see it, but if I turn on the working area, I can see it as well. I can cycle through the color over here. Positional charger. Hello? I wanted to cycle through the color, but we have 9 colors. I'm good when it comes to our own mod, yeah. So, different color, different color, different. Anyway, you can see that through the walls, but yeah, that's basically it. So conclusion over this, other than that this is it, we do have more planned. one of the things that we have planned that was actually requested is, instead of having positional cards by themselves, also have a way to have relative positional cards. So, instead of having them called positional cards, they will be renamed to absolute positional cards. We already have a working prototype of relative positional cards. So, look forward to that, basically allowing you to right-click a charger or a machine, right-click a different point, and it will track the offset for that, so you can move the charger over here, for example, and it will still have the offset over to that block. So that's the relative positional card. Then the world augment that we talked about for fluids in the condenser was also requested to be put into the desublimator, or work in the desublimator, so you could place and break blocks. So, or rather, world augment to drop items in the world, and have an additional augment which will allow for block placement or breaking in the desublimator. And other than that, I guess that's basically it. If there's any questions you guys have about this mod, please feel free to respond to wherever I post this, which is probably going to be Twitter, the FTB subreddit, YouTube, or if you're actually on any of the Discord servers that I'm on and want to reach out privately, just LordMouse #0001. Probably putting this in the video when I edit this bit. And that's, yeah, where else maybe? GitHub issues. You can open an issue on the GitHub repository and ask for a feature, or suggest a feature rather. And yeah, that's the showcase. I hope you enjoyed. I literally don't know how long this is. I think it's like around an hour, but I'll probably put a bit of music on the back of it, so it's not just me talking. Anyway, that concludes the mod showcase. Thank you for watching, and enjoy playing with the mod, in case you do that. In case you didn't just waste like an hour of your time watching a showcase and don't intend to play with it.